What is up, guys? Today we are playing a game called Mulaka, and it is out March 1st. It's coming out on pretty much everything. PC, on Steam, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. It's $19.99 on all systems. It's weird on the Switch. It's $19.98. I'm not really sure why that's the case, but it's 20 bucks, okay, for this game. Now, this game is interesting because it's based in Mexico, so you're playing through some pretty cool scenery that they've done a really great job with the art style. I really like the art style in this game, by the way. But you are playing as a Tarahumara shaman. So they kind of get into some of the culture there and everything. It's not something I was super familiar with, but it's pretty cool the way they show it here. And what's great about this game, something I really like, it's an indie game, yes, but it really gave me the feeling of an old school action adventure game. So think about some of the old action adventure games we used to have, something like a Jak and Daxter, for example, something like that on that line, where we got it, we had the entire game, and we had a good time playing through it. There are some weaknesses to the games, but so far, I really like it, and I'm just going to tell you guys now, I think it's worth the money. But let's play some of it, okay? I'm going to jump in here, and we're going to play the second world here, okay? And what you end up doing in this game is, you can kind of see the art style here, first of all. It has this really bright, really vibrant look, and it kind of looks like really no game I've seen before. And it's really cool in that sense that it's very unique looking. So we're going to kind of play through here. I have some stuff I still need to do in this world despite finishing the main objective. Your main objective is essentially your land or your world here is being pretty much taken over by evil and darkness, and you're trying to pretty much fight it. And that's kind of, it's a pretty standard story in that sense. But the idea is you have 3 stones that you get in each world, then open up to then go to the boss. It's almost like you work through a dungeon in some games like Zelda to get a master key. If you remember how we used to do that back before, obviously, Breath of the Wild. But you work through, you get a key, and then you go fight the boss, and then you move on to the next world. So far, I've played pretty far into the game. I'm a couple worlds in and everything. And you get new abilities as you go as well. So I have a couple things I still need to do here. I think I'm about 50% done. Now, if I use R, I actually get this cool little vision, that like this sight that I can see different things around me. And in this case, I can see that that's the save point with that beacon in the distance there. So you do have to save manually a lot of times, but they do have little checkpoints here and there depending. Now they have a lot of stuff that's hidden as well. And in this case, I would be working towards finding something that may be hidden in this level. But I'm also going to kind of work around, and we'll check out some of the combat, which kind of is the weakest point about this game, to be completely honest. You do unlock different things as you play through as well, which I'm actually going to show you guys here in a minute. I'm going to show you guys a couple different things when it comes to the skill tree. That part I just did there is an ability you unlock in I think the 3rd world, where you can kind of turn into a bird, which is pretty cool. Limited time. It's more like a glide that you can do. But I think what we'll do is we're going to we're gonna go look at the skill tree right now, actually, because you do have a skill tree that you can buy skills for. It's kind of limited. But essentially you gain currency as you fight enemies and everything. And then that gives you the ability to buy different things that kind of go along with you. I mean, it's not like massive, like you don't get a ton of stuff, but you can, here we go. How can I help you? Yep, all right, so this is your skill tree. And I have 533 of the currency, the kormas, and I've only bought one thing so far because it's very limited as to how much you get as you defeat enemies, things like that. So I did this, which is my special attack charges faster, which your special attack or your finisher is extremely powerful. So I wanted to get that right away. This will make my soul more resilient, which I assume that means that you take more damage before you lose one of your bars of health. That makes it so my magic recovers faster, which is kind of important as well. In this case, my spear returns quicker, and then so on. So it really only appears that you have 7 things to unlock. I'm actually going to make my soul more resilient in this case, and I think that I did okay, good. And that should at least make life a little easier when I'm fighting enemies, which we're going to go do, I think, now. So we're going to go, oh, there's something over there, question mark up this way. So let's go see what we have here. This is kind of what you end up doing. You end up like using the sight that you have to see different things around you. And let's see, it's over here. Oh, there it is, okay. On one of the rooftops here. You notice I couldn't see that from the beginning. Okay, this is 20 and you end up working towards a percentage of the world. So in this case, I am, let's see, 53% done this world. There's stuff I haven't found yet. You end up finding different people who are basically like souls that you find using your vision. So you end up kind of scouring the different worlds as you go through, trying to find. Oh, there's another question mark up there. So you find different people who are hidden, different items, and it's pretty fun if you're a completionist kind of person or you want to get everything. There is a lot to do here outside of the main objective, and so far each world that I've come across is pretty different for the most part. So I'm pretty about that too. Let me see if I can kind of work my way up here because it seems to be on top of that, I think. So let me see if maybe now that I have this bird ability, I can get up here, because before I would have a hard time getting to that point. So yeah, it looks like it's up there, and I think I can. This is something I couldn't do before when I was here. So now that I have this bird ability, I can kind of jet around and get stuff I couldn't before. So you kind of see around here. Draw distance is pretty good. I can see the save point there. There is an enemy down there, and we're going to kind of talk a bit about the combat here soon. I think if I go up there, that's where the boss was originally. I think I could spawn more enemies, and I can show you some of the annoyances of the game so far. But so the enemies vary. These ones seem to be in more so in the last couple worlds. These ones, they seem to like these guys. So I don't know if they're actually like the mainstay enemies that you end up fighting, but they showed up in this world, and I've seen them in the past, I believe, too, so far. So, but you have essentially a light attack, which I'm using here to kind of catch them off guard, and then you have a heavy attack. I can also turn into a bear if you press hold the heavy attack. But you can jump and kind of smash down. You can have this running ability here that. The running, oh, by the way, is awesome. I love the running animation. I think it's really funny. But I can like smash into people using the run, and then you can kind of gore them with the spear, I guess. But so far it looks pretty good, right? The fighting. But when you start pairing it with multiple enemies, and you end up kind of getting caught at times just because you can't really interrupt your own combos easily. When you're fighting things, it can get pretty annoying, I will say that. So let me go up here. Let me see if I can trigger any of these. So I have like a bomb also I can throw. Let me see if I can trigger any of these enemies up here that I can fight. I'm trying to figure out if they'll still be here when I go up here, because they might not be. I guess they're not. Let me blow this one up too. So this was actually a boss fight up here that I ended up doing. And I guess I couldn't trigger that again, so that's fine. We'll go back and kind of go through the world a little more, and I'll see if I can find some enemies. And I'm actually still hunting in this case for little treasures and stuff. So we'll kind of go back here and see what else I can find. So I went ahead and jumped back to the first world. This is what you're going to start with here when you first start the game. This is kind of like out, I guess, in like the desert part of the game. The other one was obviously in like more like a village. This is kind of what you're going to start with though. And it was an interesting first world for a couple reasons, because they don't do the best job, I guess, explaining things to you, and the boss was actually pretty neat. But you can see how there are these mushrooms growing from the side there. I ran into that in the other world. That's something I haven't actually received anything for yet to get up there. So that's something that I'm going to find, I guess, the next like world or so. So keep that in mind to make sure you come back to these different worlds when you get different abilities. That's something that I believe actually might be another one of those pots, whereas in the other world, I actually had basically a soul that I couldn't get up to talk to, and it was also locked behind those mushroom type things. So keep in mind, you're going to end up backtracking to certain ones to 100% them, which is something I like about games like these, where they give you a reason to kind of go back and take a look at some of these different worlds. Here's another different type of enemy where you have these like this rock beast kinda, and he'll run at you, and the idea is you're supposed to get out of the way, and then you can kind of attack him in the back. So they do have different types of enemies that have different strategies to defeat them. Later on in the game, there is a very annoying one that will actually kind of float around, and the idea is you can either get close to them and hit them quickly so they drop down. They're almost like those like wizards that like shoot at you from kind of far away, or you can of course throw your spear at them quickly, and if you hit them, then they'll fall down, then you can kind of beat them up there. So there are different enemies to the game based on I guess different ways to defeat them, essentially. They look different too, but different ways to defeat them, whether you have to just go after them real quick or kind of stay back, dodge their attack, and then hit them when they're vulnerable. So far, though, the exploring part can be kind of tricky, as well as this site that you have doesn't go super far in terms of where you can go. But like you can see here, for example, there are these platforms that it shows. So it does give you like a little extra thing to look for, like these platforms, for example. Now I can jump up here. I'll get up to this part, and I'll actually drop up here, and you can see now I can kind of take this little, I guess this shortcut that I wouldn't be able to take otherwise. So when you turn into like a bird, for example, you don't have the ability to use your sight, which makes this a little harder, I'd say. But they still exist. It's just you can kind of see them now. So this is going to bring me up here as we get closer to this. There we go. And here we are. Now I'm up here. So this was kind of a path I had to take before. I can throw a spear as well. So here's a bunch of scorpions that I'm going to be, I guess, fighting in this case. They're pretty easy to take care of. You just want to use, like, I guess, your quick attacks, and then you can also, of course, jump up and then slam down on them. But let me take care of them. And what I liked about the spear in this case is, specifically for the Switch, it does use like a gyro aim, which is cool. So I'm using the Pro Controller right now. You can actually aim using the spear by kind of using the gyro on the Pro Controller. Let me get rid of these guys, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. The spear is something you get pretty early on as well. So I can use the right stick, as you can see here, or I can actually aim around with this guy. So if you like the gyro controls, this is a little added benefit, I guess, for the Switch. Also uses the HD rumble to some effect. It's not mind-blowing for that, but it does at least use it to a degree where if things rumble, it has a much more slight vibration than if things are very serious in front of you and like you're getting destroyed by something. But whenever you hit like an enemy, you have a very slight vibration. When you use your big attack, you do get a really nice, like really harsh vibration to show how serious it is when you're hitting them with that. So far, I've liked my time at the game. It seems to be a decent length in terms of just the regular story. Probably about, I would say at this point, from what I'm seeing other people say as well, probably about 6-7 hours is what you'll get out of it for main story. And then going back, completing everything, 100%ing each world. More time, obviously, you'll get out of that. But it's for $20. All inclusive, obviously. The nice thing about indie games is there's no microtransactions. I would say it is a good purchase. I would say it is worth it. If you enjoyed the older style action-adventure games, right, where it was up to you to explore, find stuff, and you'd get rewarded with new abilities, stuff like that, I would look into buying it. It's a well-done game. So I'm going to let you guys see some handheld footage as well here so you can get an idea of how it runs there. I didn't have any issues there either. It does appear to be running at 30 frames per second. Docked mode, I believe it is getting a straight 1080p. If not, it's upscaled well because it's hard to tell otherwise. But it is getting a 30 frames per second cap because it does seem to dip at times. But I will jump you guys over now to handheld footage so you can check it out. This game is out March 1st. And that is Mulaka, out on all systems. That includes the Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Steam on PC.